Kenyan workers reported to their stations despite a boycott call by opposition leader Raila Odinga. However, workers in the country offices of Migori, Homa Bay and Saya stayed home, whilst other sectors such as banks and government offices were busy going about their duties. Of course, no one wants to lose his or her job. While addressing his party supporters, defeated presidential aspirant Raila Odinga incited the public to boycott work and told them to gather up and fight to demand justice. There were reported incidences of violence with fatalities before and after President Uhuru Kenyatta was re-elected on Tuesday by a margin of 1.4 million votes, according to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Uhuru Kenyatta extended a hand of friendship to the opposition, but a coalition of opposition parties says it has evidence of irregularities during the vote count and maintains that Odinga is the rightful winner. Kisumu County Commissioner Marlene Mohammed says transit buses to the major cities are doing business as usual.
Back opening the businesses, transport has started flowing in and out of Kisumu County because people have really suffered for the last few days. Imagine a casual laborer who has no any other income. They entirely depend on their daily bread out of getting that kind of work. Those working in supermarkets, you go to the matatu industry, the border sector, everybody remains indoors. So who is going to ferry to any destination in this city? No one, as long as people remain indoors. And that's how actually people are affected. But I'm happy. I'm happy. Yesterday we had a meeting with the governor-elect, with my team as the County Security Intelligence Committee, with the governor-elect, his deputy, members of the county assembly-elect from the various wards, and the religious leaders and the business community at St. Stephen Church. In the whole of afternoon, that was from 2 all the way to around 6. I'm happy that actually there's political goodwill on the part of our leadership, and we have started on the right footing with the governor-elect. Today I moved around the CBD and I'm happy. All the supermarkets are opening, businesses have opened their shops and various, even the market. But people have raised concerns about, they're not getting adequate supply because of the concerns in Kisumu. We have made a very clear message to those in Kisumu and those who want to actually deliver their supplies, including even, petrol and diesel to this city, as much as we have the pipeline. We want to say that we have secured our highway, Kisumu, Nairobi, Kisumu, Kakamega, Kisumu, Busia. All our roads are now clear. We have removed those stones, even boulders. Some of them, I don't know, that kind of energy. You will even find a very big boulder along the highways that we even had to ask for a bulldozer to remove those things.
Well, let's go to Kenya now and speak with Calvin Jabedo, who is with KTN. Hello, Calvin.
Hi, Gifty. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you're good as well. We understand that, some of the workers have actually defied that directive by opposition leader Raila Odinga to not, to boycott work. How is that coming?
Yeah, actually, most of the workers have defied that order. Some voluntarily, others by being coerced to work, especially the government employees. Now, there was a circular going around that there will be a head count in the offices to show if all the workers had reported to work. And also, most of the businessmen in this town, especially the city, Nairobi, were back to business, opening up their businesses as usual, but the doors were half open. People are just on the lookout. In case of anything that resembles violence, they'll quickly shut down. Gifty?
Well, that's interesting. For those who work for government, they've gone to work. But then those who are not working for government are staying at home. What has...
Not really.
Not really. So you could say that
Not
everybody
really.
Is working. Business as usual.
Most of the people are working. The transport industry, if you want to know most people are working, the transport industry is a big indicator for that. We have the local transport system called the matatus. Most of them are on the road, plying their businesses as usual. The shops, the convenience stores, the supermarkets, and the market, they are all open. So it shows you most of the people are working.
The opposition has not been very happy with the external observers that have come into Kenya, and especially based on the fact that they have all been hailing the election results, for instance. Has there been a response from these external observers?
Actually, when they were coming in, the opposition was very happy, hailing them, calling them all manner of names like heroes. You see, these are the champions of democracy. And we even had a statement from the opposition chief, Raila Odinga, saying that the coming in of John Kerry is a testament to democracy in this country. Only for him to turn around and now say that these guys have been compromised. You see, it's a bit difficult because they're saying these guys have been compromised, yet they are not tabling the evidence that they have to show that the elections were really compromised. And that is where now there is a catch, because the observers said, ours is to observe. We are not a court. You cannot come to us with evidence and tell us now to denounce these elections because you've tabled this sort of evidence. They told them, you've brought your evidence to us, we've seen it, it's okay, we've noticed. That is all our entails in this place.
I was just speaking with a member of opposition party here in the studio a while ago, and he mentioned
Dr. William.
Right, and he mentioned the fact that it was necessary to establish some sort of election dispute resolution system at this point, looking at what is happening on the backdrop of what historically has happened in Kenya after elections. Is anything like that ongoing?
We don't have anything like that, and it's something that I think needs to happen, because opposition raised some valid points. You see, when the voting closed, when the polls closed at 5 p.m. on Friday, 7 minutes after 5, we had the first result. You see, this is something close to being work of robots. You see, counting and posting the results, transmitting them electronically within 7 minutes is virtually impossible. So this is one of the indications that there was something that is not really right. But for now, we don't have such a body to arbitrate on this dispute. And the opposition was very clear when they were disputing these results. They said the court is not an option. They've been there before, and they were kicked out on a technicality. And they say even this time, they fear the same will happen.
What then are they considering as options available to them?
That is what we wait to hear from the opposition chief tomorrow, because he told his followers to stay put and wait for my update tomorrow. I'll be giving a major announcement on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, giving out the way forward, what to do in our roadmap to State House.
So far, has there been any casualties? We know there's been pockets of violence here and there, especially in opposition strongholds.
Yes, there have been casualties. The government has come out to say it has 10 people officially dead, and classified those 10 people as criminals who were looting. But unofficially, we have figures going up to 21, including a 10-year-old girl who was shot in a flat where she lives. She was playing with her friends, and someone just decided to shoot her on the 4th floor, which is a bit unfortunate. We also have a 6-month-old baby fighting for her life after she was clobbered on the head by a policeman in Kisumu.
Wow. Wow, that sounds very worrying and traumatizing. But how are security agencies dealing with this unfortunate incident and to prevent a recurrence?
Of course, the first thing about security is deny, deny, deny. That is normal for us. They deny everything. They deny involvement in anything. They even denied the attacks that had been going on there. Another problem that we now face is the emergence of fake news. We have a lot of fake news where people are crying out that they're being hit, and when you go to investigate, you find nothing going on.
I see. How are journalists like yourself putting all of this together?
We are trying. We are facing a bit of intimidation. My colleague called Duncan Haimba was arrested when he had put on protective clothing. Apparently, the police wanted him to show a permit, a license, why he had on protective clothing. He had it with him, he produced it, and he was still taken into cell for a while, for I think 4 or 5 hours. Then he was released after the pressure became too much. because guys were demanding, why are you arresting him? Because for my station, we were the first to be on location on Saturday, showing the pockets of violence. And I think this is the one thing the government didn't want to come out. And we are trying. We are really trying. We are going behind the scenes, talking to people, trying to go into the slums, deep into the slums where we know we've been given information that these are happening, and we are trying to bring out that information, and we are really packaging some stories that show both sides of the divide, both sides of the story, both sides of the coin. Yeah.
Well, Calvin, you all have to stay safe. That's the most important on the job at this point, I'd say. Calvin, thank you very much for that update. I'm sure we'll be reaching over to you, especially as we anticipate that major announcement to be made by the opposition party tomorrow. Calvin Jabedo is with KTN in Kenya, helping us with that information from there. Very disturbing information. Now, from what he says, officially, 10 people have died. Officially, 10 people have died as a result of post-election violence. And of course, unofficial figures put the figure at 21. Unofficially, 21 people are dead. And he mentions a 6-year-old who was playing and a 6-month-old baby as well, who is actually battling for his life, he says. Journalists are being intimidated, according to his report right now. But tomorrow is for a major announcement to be made by the opposition party. We look forward to see what that is.